You really only get one chance to be a first-time cruiser. It's a little bit of a trial by fire when you have to get on the cruise ship for the first time. A fair question that we've been asked is, what can the first-time cruiser expect on embarkation day? We'll break it down in this video, give you a couple tips right after this. Hey, what's up everybody? Tony with La Lita Loca. Welcome to the YouTube channel. If you enjoy cruise tips, please consider subscribing to the channel with the notification bell on, and you get updated for all of our new content. Today we're talking about what to expect on embarkation day, questions around parking, what time you can get on the ship, how does the whole process work, when can you get to your rooms. Let's just break it down. So the first couple things that you have to settle is, how are you going to get to the cruise port? And what time should you go to the cruise port? Now, if you drove to the cruise, you can either park at the cruise port. They offer parking there for a fee, or you can use a service. You can go to a parking lot that has a shuttle bus that will take you over. Sometimes you can stay in a hotel the night before that has a shuttle service. That's called a park and cruise. So depending on what service you choose is where your car is going to eventually be parked. If you're going to park at the cruise port, you're going to be parking at the cruise port. The park and cruise is usually a parking lot at the hotel where they direct you to put your car, and then just a standard shuttle service is going to be a big parking lot that the shuttle bus leaves from and returns to. And maybe you flew in and you took an Uber or a taxi to the hotel. You might potentially use the hotel shuttle service, or you might use a taxi or an Uber to get to the cruise ship. Now, the time that you go to the cruise port is determined most of the time by the cruise line. When you do your check-in online, they will assign you a time. And in most cases, you should not show up to the cruise line prior to that assigned time. A couple exceptions to that is if you've used a program that gives you priority boarding, say you bought Faster the Fun on Carnival or the Key on Royal Caribbean, you can pretty much go to the cruise port right when it opens. And if you have built up loyalty with a cruise line, you're most likely going to have priority boarding, allowing you to show up at the cruise terminal at whatever time you want. And the major challenge that you have once you get to the cruise port is what to do with your luggage. You may have some luggage that you want to check in, that you want a luggage handler to take on board the ship for you, and then you may have the luggage that you want to keep with you, your carry-on. So when you get out of your shuttle, when you park your car, the first thing you want to do is find out where to take your checked luggage if you have checked luggage. It's pretty simple at some small cruise ports where there's only one or two ships. It can be very complicated at a cruise port where there's a lot of ships. So you really want to make sure that you're in the right place, that you're giving the correct luggage worker your luggage so it shows up on your cruise ship. Verify. Make sure you know which terminal in the cruise port that you're going to and which set of luggage that you have to give to the luggage handler so it ends up on the ship. The luggage handler is one of those people where it's usually customary to tip them $3 to $5 a bag. Not everybody does that, but it is one of the customary things to do, and of course they appreciate it. The next part of the process is usually a security process. One of the first things that you do when you enter in the cruise terminal is you go through a security scan. They're going to scan your carry-on luggage. You're going to walk through a metal detector. Once you've cleared security, you're going to go to a check-in agent. This varies by cruise line, but traditionally you're going to go to somebody at a counter. You're going to present them with your check-in documentation. They're going to check you in. At most cruise lines, you're going to give them some sort of payment that's going to fund your shipboard account. You may have done that previously online. You're going to show them your passport. You're going to show them your identification, and it's going to be at that point where they get you checked into the cruise. Again, depending on the cruise line, they may give you your room card, or you may pick your room card up at your actual room. But at the end of that process, they will direct you where to go sit to wait to be called onto the cruise ship. The next part is actually the fun part, getting onto the cruise ship. Now, sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge. They may stop you. They may want to take an embarkation picture. It is a super cool picture. Most of the time, they're not going to hassle you too hard. You can walk right by, or you can stop and get your picture made. But then you're going to make your way onto the gangway and up into the cruise ship, and then you're going to go on board the cruise ship. Now, depending what time you get on the cruise ship, either the rooms will be available or the rooms will not be available. Most of the time, rooms are available at least 1 o'clock or later. So you can get on the cruise ship before that. If you get there early enough, you can start exploring the cruise ship, but you're going to have to carry your carry-on luggage with you unless you have some sort of priority package that allows you early access to your room. Again, Carnival's Faster the Fun. Those are the first rooms they clean. And just give you some context of what's going on. Between 8 and 11 that same day, everybody that was on the cruise ship in the morning when people wake up, they're on the cruise ship. They have to get off the cruise ship, and then every one of those rooms have to be cleaned and made ready for the next group of cruisers. And so that's why it takes a while for your rooms to be ready. And if there's a priority program like Faster the Fun, they will target those rooms and flip them, clean them first, so that people that have that priority service, also maybe through loyalty, can go to their rooms straight away. But if you don't have that priority service, expect anywhere between 1 and 3 o'clock for your room to be ready. So you're going to carry your carry-on stuff around. And traditionally, this is the time where people go and they have lunch at the buffet or one of the included food option places. We gave a tip earlier to find maybe a spot that's off the beaten path, that's not too visited, so you don't have to deal with the crowd. Some people will take their swimsuits in their carry-on. They'll switch into their swimsuits, go for a swim. All that kind of stuff is good to do while you're waiting for your room to get ready. So the next couple major events is your room being available. If you go to your room, you can drop your stuff off, you can unpack, and then sometime right before the ship sails away, there's going to be a mandatory safety drill that is called the muster drill. When you check in, when you get your room key, it's going to indicate where your muster station is. One of the things we recommend you doing early on is identifying where that muster station is, so when the alarm sounds that you're supposed to go to muster, you know exactly where you're going to go. The safety briefing, the muster drill, is mandatory. They check on your attendance by scanning your card. So if you see people walking around with the scanners, make sure you get your card scanned so they don't call your name out over the loudspeaker. They're not looking for you. And usually it's about a 10 to 20 minute presentation. On most lines, you don't have to bring a life jacket. It works a couple ways. Some lines, the life jacket's in your cabin. Some lines, the life jackets are there at the muster station. Either way, you don't have to bring your life jacket to the muster drill. They're going to show you how to put on the life jacket. They're going to tell you where to go in case of an emergency. They're probably going to show you where the lifeboats are. So it's only about a 10 to 20 minute presentation, but be there as close to on time as possible, and go through the process, and then the vacation really starts. Normally there's a deck party after the muster drill called the sail away party. The cruise director goes up there. There's usually a band or a DJ. Everybody goes up there, they sing, they dance. The whole goal is to get hyped up for your vacation as the cruise ship is making its way out to sea. It's the best. If you like to take video, it's so fun to set up some sort of stationary camera and take a time lapse of sailing out of port. It really is the coolest. And that usually happens 4 to 4:30, and most of the time the first dining is like 5:30 or 6, so you have a good hour and a half to enjoy the sail away and to get ready for dinner. So I could keep going, but those are really the highest hurdles on embarkation day. If you can solve those problems that I've talked about and stay calm during all of it, you are on cruise control for most of the cruise. There's still some pressure points going off onto a port for the first time and coming back, and then the disembarkation process. But for the most part, you have gone through the hard part, and it's vacation time. I guess the biggest tip is just to stay calm, have a good time. Millions of people go through all of those things that I've talked about, and it all works out. It could be frustrating, it could be anxious, but the end goal is that you're going to be cruising in just a few hours. So just push through it and get ready for the fun. The question for the comments is this: anything else that we should call out on embarkation day to help the new cruisers? What do you do to pass the time? Do you unpack? We've talked about a few of those things in earlier videos. Please leave your comment below. Participate in this series of cruise tips. It's almost cruise day for us. Again, we're going to choose one comment and pin it to the top of every video's comments and have a little drawing after day 31. Thanks for stopping by. I hope the information was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Follow us on social media. Consider subscribing to the channel. This is Tony with La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.